Today's targeting of the Martha's Vineyard ferry service is now the third notable ransomware attack in just under a month in this country. For more on this, we're joined by Glenn Gerstel. He's former general counsel with the National Security Agency, better known as the NSA. Sir, thanks so much for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
What do you make of this rash of cyber attacks in this country? Does it say more about our vulnerabilities, or does it say more about our adversaries' aggressiveness?
Both, actually. Unfortunately, we're on the verge of a cyber epidemic. We're seeing more and more ransomware attacks in industries that are having a real world impact, whether it's Colonial Pipelines, which led to lots of people on the East Coast and Southeast lining up at gas stations, to now today JBS Beef, one of the world's largest beef processing facilities, having to shut down some of its production, to, as you just mentioned, a steamship company in Massachusetts. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And the reason is it's easy for criminals to do this. There's lots of money involved. It's very easy to do. And the reality is there's almost no chance of getting caught.
Wow. And I look at this recent list. We're talking about attacks against food, gas, and transportation. If there ever was critical infrastructure, certainly all those things are on the list. What's the biggest weakness right now? What are we not doing enough of to secure critical agencies like the ones that have been attacked in recent weeks?
The reality is this is a complex problem, and there's not going to be one single solution. It's not a disease for which we can just take a simple pill or whatever. So we're going to have to take a number of steps on the international front to make it really difficult for other countries, especially Russia, to export their cyber malevolence. And also here, we're going to have to take extraordinary steps to bolster the private sector and the public sector. The president just issued an executive order a few weeks ago, which is aimed at the government, but the private sector has huge steps it needs to take. It's very expensive, very costly. We know how to solve this problem. It takes time and money.
And to me, if you're going to end up paying a ransom of some kind, why not put that money in protecting your company, particularly a critical agency? Let me ask you this, too. Obviously, the president and Vladimir Putin are going to meet in a few weeks here, and that's going to be topic number one, I would imagine, on a long list of issues. The through line, a lot of these attacks, is Russian involvement, Russian links. If you had to guess what Biden could say to Putin in that moment that could make a difference, is there really anything?
Sure. President Biden is undoubtedly going to be very, very strong with Putin and tell him this is utterly unacceptable behavior, and that we're going to keep ratcheting up the various sanctions and whatnot that we have against Russia. But the reality is that it's not all that effective, and Putin is surely going to say, I'm not responsible for this. If there are some criminals within Russia, not my fault. We'll do the best we can to catch them. But if they're not violating Russian law, I'm not going to do anything about it. And Putin knows, in a way, that the Kremlin is sort of coated with Teflon, in the sense that sanctions aren't going to make a lot of difference with Russia. Why? Because they don't trade all that much with us. So we have a limited number of weapons we have at our disposal that will really have an effect against Russia. They know at the end of the day we're not sending over a B-52, so it's a real problem.
Let me read you a bit of reporting from the Washington Post today. It says critical U.S. infrastructure might be better hardened against ransomware attacks were it not for the 2012 defeat of legislation that would have set cybersecurity standards for critical industries. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other business groups lobbied hard against the bill, condemning it as government interference in the free market. Any reaction to that? We've tried this before, couldn't get it done. It was lobbied against. What's the political climate now?
It's so often the case that we have to wait to a disaster or a bad outcome before we take action. We've seen that time and again in a number of areas in our country. That's just the way our democracy works. Unfortunately, it takes a lot to get people to agree on things. I think all the disasters we've seen in the cyber world the last few months, with SolarWinds, Colonial Pipelines, today's news, is enough to start changing the debate. And I think we're now going to see increasing calls for more mandatory cybersecurity standards. I think Washington's finally going to get there.
And real quick before we let you go, do you foresee a day, speaking of a calamity that you referenced, that they get into air traffic control, that they get into a water system where they do some real damage, and then that wakes the country up to get something done and invest in this the way it seems it needs to be?
Well, we all certainly hope that isn't the case. The reality is that we do have vulnerabilities, whether it's in air traffic control or dams that hold back a massive amount of water that are controlled by computers. So we could easily paint a picture of a horrible disaster. The one thing that we have that is probably going to work against that, I say probably, not certainly, is that Russia, China, others who are exporting this kind of cyber malevolence understand they can't do anything really horrific to us because we will fight back, and that will involve a B-52. So at the end of the day, there's some self-limit. That's not much comfort, but it's a little bit of comfort.
Glenn Gerstel, thank you so much for your time and insight.